what's going to be happening for him in the future here?
He will continue to live out his days here by working. There will be some extreme weather which may cause the closure of his business temporarily. This time left is more about helping the people around him. He has completed his mission of doing the inner work and um, learning and growing and making and finding experiences in this life. That is not to say that he is perfect and everything is done, but he has done enough. He's done what his soul wanted to do in this life and is now living out the last of his days, being of service to others. So he will need to be in the thick of it with regards to his being around other people. And we are just, Andre can feel some spiritual surgery happening on his body right now. We are taking some of his negative thoughts about himself out of his head right now. We are healing his crown chakra. We are healing some of his wounded masculine side. Yes, and we are Andre is feeling a hammer and a chisel on his elbow. We are just taking care of a few things. With regards to Andre's time left, it's going to be fairly similar to what he is experiencing right now. He, in the time from now until the point at where he shifts off the planet, will experience some very intense upgrades, and his crystalline body will come through more and more. And he will feel, while he will feel very overwhelmed with transmuting a lot of the energy, his mental capacity to see things from the higher perspective and be able to compartmentalize his feelings and process will be very much heightened, and it will be tiring for him, but it will not be it will not bring him to a state of depression or hurt anymore. It will just make him tired.
Okay, well, thank you for doing the healing on his body. I know he'll really appreciate that. And so, in terms of experiencing the shift in the event, can you take us through that for him, please?
Yes, so much has changed. So much has changed. It is not necessary to go through all of the motions that we had once believed needed to take place. And Andre was expecting a big upgrade into crystalline body to perform his lifesaver role. And he will be performing in many ways a similar role, just at a more physical level. But we would like to assure him that what he cannot see is where the work is really being done. So there is an ever-expanding light around him that is getting bigger and bigger and helping more and more, and the reach of his light is far greater than he can imagine. So there is this role being performed right now. It is his light that is helping to heal and to guide and help others. And this is leading up to the shift. And Andre gets uncomfortable when talking about the shift in himself because he feels, again, he's making it up, and there is issues with his trust. And even though he is in a better place now with regards to this, it is difficult for him to talk about it. So we are going to just relax him and remind him to loosen up the tension in his body and to take a deep breath. Andre will experience the shift while he is sleeping. He will see a great light and all become fuzzy. And we are showing him what it will look like. It is very similar to the dream he had where he saw a representation of God. And the feeling that he felt during that dream will be very similar to what he feels when the shift happens. It will be a very surreal feeling, a feeling of being lifted out of the body. And the light he will see the light, and it will get brighter and brighter until it envelops him, and all becomes dark and black. And then he will wake up as if he woke up on the new earth as if he had been there for years. And there will be a short period of remembering what has just happened. And he will be met with his soul family. And there will be an adjustment period where he starts to remember everything he knows, his soul knows. And then he will begin to help others to make their transition into the new earth. It is hard for Andre to comprehend it. That's why it's hard to show him the visualizations, because he can't really see it. But he knows it's happening. And he is happier to just let it happen. And we know that he doesn't need to know the ins and outs of it. And it is healthier for him in this moment to know the basics, but he doesn't need to see everything take place. And this is why we haven't shown him exactly what is happening. He knows what the basics are, but there is a blackout from when the light envelops him until the new earth. But he will be aware of some aspects of the transition during that time of blackout. But it's not something that he needs to know right now. It's not something that would help him. It's not something that would give him any more confirmation than he has right now. We have shown him what he will experience on a conscious level, and he has chosen not to experience the shift before the shift. There is a point in the shift where Andre will have to make a decision to allow the transition to happen, and he will, but it's important in that moment that he makes the decision on a conscious level. So it is something that will be shown to him when the time comes. And we know that sounds vague, but there is a contract between all of you and your experience. So you will all experience your certain aspects of the shift in the way you want to do it. And while you're all experiencing the same thing and going to the same place, there are certain aspects of each of your experience that has been mapped out for you by your higher self. And we are going to stick to that. And we are, yes, we are sort of giving onto the experience now of floating and being light. And this is how he will feel on the earth.
Okay, thank you. I know he did want to experience other things, but we will respect what you have told us today, subconscious. So, thank you. You do know best, so I will not be pushing the issue.
Yes, Andre is a curious person. He wants to explore and learn and grow all the time. But he has chosen to part of his lesson in right now and up till recently has been to start to enjoy life, start to find value in the third dimensional aspect of life, try to find joy in the small things in life. And this is why he has been showing boundaries, and this is why he has been taking more time for himself. And this is why he has been doing the things that he's wanted to do for many, many years, like making the pasta, like making the beef stew, and doing small things like this. He has chosen to try to find the joy in life as it is. And if we take him too far into the future, he is being taken away from the present, and that is part of Andre's lesson. And though his vessel wants to explore the future, his soul, his higher self, wants at this time to really invest in the joys of his third dimensional experience.
Thank you. Yes, I do understand. Are you able to give me a sense of why is it so significant the 21st of the 12th? I know he's been seeing it a lot in time and in numbers, but why is that date so significant?
Are you asking with regards to Andre and why he's seeing the numbers, or with regards to the event itself?
Both.
With regards to the event itself, it is linked to the conjunction of planetary alignment. It is something that was agreed upon many, many, many years ago with the Mayans. It was, the information was gifted to them, and they did much work with the Pleiadians and with the Arcturians. And Andre is seeing a council that mediates between the two civilizations who connected with the Mayans to help them create their calendar. So this has been agreed upon this date. And the reason that this date was agreed upon is because of the cycles in the universe that we adhere to on a lawful basis. And this is the next opportunity for Earth to leave her vessel. Um, um, and this is why this date is significant. It is not the only date this can take place, but is the best opportunity with regards to helping Earth and helping those on Earth, and the alignments of the planets around Earth and their souls who are helping Earth to make her transition. It was the most agreeable date. And in your Earth years, it is a general time, and the exact event will take place over a few days and weeks, with the peak being in and around the day of the 21st of December 2020. You mustn't forget that in your time, there are many time zones and many different areas that will experience different times. So we ask you to take the emphasis off the exact timing and to be aware that in and around the date of the 21st of December is when it will happen. And the reason Andre is seeing the numbers in relation to that date is because of the significance of that date in your human years. But the numbers also hold other information with regards to his trust, with regards to keeping his thoughts on the higher perspective, keeping positive. And the 1221, it has been subliminally placed in his path for the past year and a bit, and on an unconscious level, he has been prepared for the information of the winter solstice being the big date, so that when he heard the information for the first time, he already had the impact of that date implanted in his subconscious. So there's many layers to the reasoning behind this number. I really hope that makes sense.
Thank you. And in terms of the Mayan calendar, some people say that it ended 2012.
The Mayan calendar, has been interpreted by modern day humans, and the Mayans knew exactly what they were doing with the calendar. And it is to do with mathematical adaptations to the calendar. It has to be interpreted because they there is many there are many things to do with the calendars that the Mayans were aware of that those who interpret the calendar were not aware of, and I'm just being shown symbology, like a language that is not understood even to this day by humans, and humans interpreted the calendar differently. So, but this was all for the bigger purpose, because it was to prepare people for 2012, which was the beginning of our work in raising the vibration of the planet. So there was purpose to this, and there was a reason why the wrong information was given to the people who interpreted the map. And we don't mean the wrong information, we mean the information that the people got, which was not correct. The correct date was 2020, the correct year. And there is purpose to all of this. We have been trying to get people on Earth to live in the present and to stop placing the importance of a future date in their present moment. And the disappointment for many of the 2012 not being the great event has brought people back to their own lives and has helped them to face and release many of the things that were holding them back, that they needed to release in order to be able to handle the incoming energies. So there was much purpose to all of this. But this was all known to the Mayans. This has all been known to us, and has all worked out in perfect divine timing.
Thank you. Could it also be said that we now are also being told this date so we can process the information and focus on our lives a bit more, and that the date actually doesn't happen, nothing changes? Is this again to help people process their current lives?
The maths of the Mayan calendar are correct to this date. So the information is correct. The only thing that can change what is about to happen is if Earth decides not to go. That will not happen. No, that is not the purpose of this event. This is the big show, the real deal.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say for the people who are still sort of triggered and shocked and disappointed that the 2012 event didn't happen? I see a lot of people still bitching about that.
It is understandable that people are disappointed when things don't happen. It is the same when the broadcast didn't happen for you. You were disappointed and you had your tantrums, and that is okay. And you've moved on, and you've started, moving forward. The same has been done for those who were disappointed with the 2012. We would say to those who are still disappointed, many 8 years later, with the new event or the new knowledge of this event coming, people are setting themselves up for another disappointment, which we understand. And we say that inner work needs to be done for anyone who is still holding on to the disappointment from 2012. And while we understand that it was disappointing, there has been ample time to process and move forward. And with this new event coming up, it is triggering people because it didn't happen in the past. Therefore, why would it happen again? We've heard this all before. And to you all, we say, regardless of what happens in December 21st, regardless of whether Earth decides to stay, regardless of whether Earth decides to go, regardless of whether the Earth turns into a big ball of candy floss, it is what it is, it will be what it will be, and it is up to the people on the planet to have done enough inner work at this point to be able to process, move forward, and get on with their lives, and not place so much importance on wanting to leave this planet. We're trying to face their lives, process their stuff, and do their inner work. To those who have done their inner work, any disappointments regarding the 21st of December, which will not take place, but in a hypothetical world, any disappointments on December the 21st will be dealt with quickly, swiftly, and they will move forward and get on with their lives. And to those that are unable to process that, it is the showing of more inner work needing to be done, and that will be the triggering of their inner work. And this is to be said for people who are staying on old Earth, who are not aware they're staying on old Earth and feel that they will be moving as well off the planet. There are many who believe they are going and who will not go. And this is directed to them, where they will need to process, do inner work, and be triggered into a place where forward momentum is needed. So we say this with love. We are not meaning to be harsh or to sound judgmental, but this is the thick and thin of it. We are we understand that it would be a disappointment, but it will all serve its purpose, to those who go, to those who do not go, to those who think they're going, and to those who are not aware of anything happening. It is all with a purpose.
Thank you. I know this will be a very general question, but I'm still going to ask it. For those people who think they're going to New Earth or shifting off on December, and they find themselves still here, celebrating Christmas, celebrating New Year, what will their planet look like? What will the planet look like after the solar flash?
The solar flash will trigger disruptions in the weather, and the solar flash will trigger tidal waves, tsunamis, earthquakes. To some, it will look completely normal. To others, it will be complete devastation. The poles are shifting as well, and this is triggering some turbulent weather and some natural disasters. So immediately after the shift, the world will be fairly normal. Some people will experience a completely normal life. Some people will experience very turbulent times. We are showing Andre many deaths, and this is going to be the bodies left from those who have shifted, and there will also be people who just simply cannot handle the energy and have chosen this to be their exit points. So there will be a lot of sadness and devastation with regards to that as well. It depends who you are and where you are in the world. It will look different to everybody. For some, it will be total devastation. For some, it will be some bad weather. And for some, it will not even be as anything's happened. It all depends.
Yes, I know. Sorry, it was a very general question. So, how are the people who know that there is going to be a shift, who then experience a lot of the population leaving? I mean, how are they going to get over the shock of them not transcending at that point in time?
For people who are aware of the shift?
Yeah, who are expecting to go to New Earth and didn't.
For many, it will be a question of it did not happen, so they were all wrong. Denial. For many, if you are still on old Earth, your mindset is not big enough to see the bigger picture, to see the higher purpose, and to understand what has truly happened.
Thank you.
Um,
Can you give Andre a percentage of, a rough percentage of the people still staying on the old Earth?
there is a greater percentage of people leaving Earth,
Mm-hmm.
staying.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm
yes.
trying to understand. So thank you very much for this information. I'm trying to understand for the people who know about the shift, who know about the event and people transcending, and then still being on the old Earth, and also knowing there's this huge amount of population who have died. How are they still able to think that it is that's just coincidence and that they haven't transcended anywhere?
It all depends on where the person is and who the person is and what they are seeing. So a lot of the people who are going have been blocked together, and a lot of people who are staying have been blocked together. So, for instance, if you're living in a small town on the outskirts of in the country, with nobody around for hundreds of miles, and all of the people in your immediate area have decided not to shift, it will be like nothing has happened. Um, and that's just an example, like a rough example. Um, some people will just wake up and their partner will pass. And that's, we're showing Andre, um, we're showing Andre, if, just trying to explain it, um, if you are if you are on old Earth and you thought that you were shifting and moving to new Earth, and you do not shift, um, the lesson for that person who is seeing the total devastation around them is the realization that they haven't shifted, they haven't gone, and this will trigger inner work. It will trigger release of emotions. It will trigger a whole new level of having to cope with that information, and also with the loss of those around you. It depends on who you are and where you are and what your experience is. So for those who are seeing the total devastation and all the people dying around them, it's going to be extremely difficult, and it will be an unlivable world for them, because not only the disappointment of not going themselves, but also having the the fear of the world that is coming, the fear of having lost all of their loved ones. And the need to move forward and to survive. There will be many suicides. There will be many people who choose their exit, who have chosen to have their exit point be by suicide. But there will also be spiritual people who think they're going, who do not go, that are around people who have not gone either, and they will just think that it is not happening. The devastation and the people leaving, or the dead bodies around them, is not so obvious to the whole world. It is obvious to certain people in certain places, but there will be sections of the earth where it seems like everything is completely fine. There will be reports from around the world that people are dropping dead, and to many it will seem like poisoning, or bad water, or things like this. There will there will be people who are not even awake who notice the flash, and can they will be awoken into a place where they were able to accept the information around them even more easily than people who have claimed to do many, many years of spiritual work. It's a very strange idea, but this will shock people into an awakening as well. So again, it is a very general question because everyone will have a different experience, but that's how we can best describe it.
Thank you. Yes, I understand it's nearly impossible to talk about everyone's situation and experiences, but I can appreciate the general information and explanations and apply that. So thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. I'm curious about light language, please. Um, for people who are, say, 3D mindsets, how are they able to use it as a tool? And is this something that's really for people in the 5D mindset? What can you tell me about that?
Andre is feeling very emotional when you talk about light language because this is the feelings we are showing him when we see people inauthentically using this language. Most of the people who use this language in inverted commas on this planet are not using the language and are thinking they are using the language, but it is not truth. There are many beings who have become enlightened enough for us to be able to share this language with them, but they are very few. And Andre is being shown Donald Trump's spiritual advisor using light language, and that is not light language. That is not the case. It is a similar situation when people in churches use tongues. This is not tongues. This is not correct light language. So we say to you, if you are living at a vibration that is so low that you are not ascending, you are not going to be using this language or brought forward to a place where this language will be of any value to you, that you are not speaking that language. And we say this with love, but there is much ego at play here, and it saddens us. And it is a tool for many of these people to increase the reach at which they are followed, because it seems like something so magical and so advanced. But it is a rare thing that a human use light language. And Andre is being shown Cain using light language, and this is authentic and beautiful. And it's something we gave to Cain as a gift through meditation. And this is authentic because Andre was wondering if it was really light language or if it was something else that was coming through for Cain. And we want to assure both Cain and Andre that this was an aspect of light language. And if Cain is open to sitting and connecting with us, we would be happy to present him with more experiences similar to this if he sets the intention, and to relax and to be patient with us. And it is something that we can work on together. And there are many people at the moment on the planet that we are saying this to, that we are offering this gift of language to. But it is safe to say that if you know someone who speaks light language, they are not speaking light language.
Okay. Andre was wondering if they set the intention for healing, and then they use their belief of light language, would that still be of benefit?
The healing would take place in many instances without the light language. But if you are healing with true light language, the healing is much more profound, much more intense, much more effective, because the light language holds the codes to a healing beyond the dimension that you are all living in. So if you are using light language in a fake way, or just using it, not using it correctly, the healing will not be more intensified by the language, but the intention that you use whilst speaking this bastardized version of the language will create more of a helping hand for that healer giving that healing, if that person so believes that they are speaking true light language, even if they are not. For those who are faking it and making it up, the healing will actually be hindered because of the lack of respect between the facilitator and those offering the healing in a higher dimension. And it is often depending on the person who is receiving the healing, on how much they need the healing, whether we bypass the ego of the facilitator of the healing. And then there are people who genuinely use light language, where they have access to a very, very, very high state of healing and a much more profound healing. And anybody who is in need of healing, depending on what level of healing they need, will be sent to each respective version of what we just explained. It all depends on the contracts between the people and what these souls in each case are looking to experience.
Thank you. And so, yes, if you're staying on the old earth, if you've got some light language healing, it probably isn't authentic and not doing much apart from giving the illusion that you're getting healing. Is that what you're wanting to say to us today?
It is essentially like that. There are people who think they speak light language, and their intention can be pure. So therefore the healing is given. It depends if the person is using it thinking they're using it correctly when they're not. And there's also the person who pretends to use it, or uses what they think is light language as some sort of badge of honor, as if they are special. And this can hinder the healing because it blocks the authenticity of the healing from taking place. But this can be bypassed depending on the need of the person receiving the healing. Sometimes it's more important to get that healing to that person than it is to teach the facilitator of the healing a lesson. It all depends on the circumstance.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I do get that. Incredible, very, very interesting. And for someone like myself, if I got to hear some light language, would I be able to know whether it was authentic or not?
Yes, your intuition would tell you. You would know very quickly whether it was authentic or not.
Yeah, thank you so much. And in terms of Ashtar, please, can you expand on this? Is he a being? Is he a collective? Is he a planet? Is he a pineapple? What is he? Can you?
Yes, I am Ashtar. I am here.
Okay, so what are you? Are you a collective? Are you a one person? Tell me more.
I am a pineapple, of course.
Well, that was my first go-to.
Yes. I am Ashtar. I am a collective of beings that share a. Um, if you think of it like a pyramid, there are a pyramid of dots. Um, I, the one you call Ashtar, is the top dot at the point of the pyramid, and beneath me are a collective of um, beings that share my vibration, that share my consciousness, that work with me. We all work together as a collective to do the work that we do, to help collectives across many galaxies and across many dimensions. The one you speak to, Ashtar, I am here and I am a single point, a single aspect of that collective. Is just like you are all humans, and you have a president or you have a king or a queen. It is not to do with rank with regards to our situation, but it is a similar idea where you are all the same thing, but there is a certain distinguishment between different levels and areas of the collective. So while we are a collective, there are single fragments of that collective, and I am the one that guides and communicates on behalf of the collective with those that we help.
Thank you. And so, are you connected to the Palladians?
We are connected to the Pleiadians. We work with the Pleiadians. We are an aspect of the collectives that are broken down into the uh, level that of which at which the Pleiadians lie. So it is like the Pleiadians, and the Arcturians are uh, are connected, but they are not the same collective.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you. I get it. And in terms of your location, are you on a ship or are you on a planet or a fruit bowl? Sorry, I'm being cheeky.
We are wherever we need to be at any time. We are beings that can become physical, or we can become energetic. So depending on what we need to do, who we need to see, what we need to accomplish, we can be on a ship, we can be an energetic form, we can be just consciousness, we can be human. It depends on the moment. Um, so we reside as energy and can utilize the physical form if and as we so wish.
Okay. And so it's really interesting. And so tell me, is there any, I feel like I already know the answer, but I'm just playing this out. Is there any more ships from Palladians coming to our stratosphere, or are you all here?
It is like shift work. So if you can imagine um, uh, uh, many lines of ships, and after a while, the front line closest to you needs to accomplish something different, or take a break, or change their position. they move away and another line moves forward. And as these ships finish the other tasks they need to do, they reappear at the back of the line and they move forward as the front line then disperses again. It's a similar type of idea. So they come and go as in when they need, and it all depends. It is not like all of the ships need to be here right now all at one time. So there is never all of the ships there. There are also other ships that do not need to be here. There are other things that need to be done in different parts of the universe in different dimensions. But trust that all that will need to be there at whatever time will be there when they are supposed to. It is all perfectly instigated and executed.
Absolutely, I do trust that. So, just so we can have a little giggle, your shift work on the ships for the shift is going well to plan.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
We are on point for all that needs to be taken care of.
Yes, absolutely. I trust that. Fantastic. Is there any other information you want to share with us today, Ashtar?
You are at a critical point in your awakening, as you call it. There is going to be a period of ups and downs, of ins and outs, and as you release the final aspects of your shadow self that need to be released in order for you to become light enough to be able to make this beautiful and grand transition off this planet. Be kind to yourselves. Take time for yourselves. Remember that all is working out in divine timing, but also to remember to have fun. Remember not to take things too seriously. Remember that all of this, in the grand scheme of things, is an illusion. It is a video game. It is a play. It is a movie. So remember this. Nothing that you do on this earth can be so serious that it affect anything outside of your matrix. So have fun, play, swear, jump off the cliff into the sea and have fun diving. We don't mean a big cliff, obviously, but we mean have fun on the beach. Do the things that bring you joy. It is so important in this time that you keep yourselves in a place of joy. So do not. Oh, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not, and then they push you awake. Okay. Interesting. Do not is the final statement. Can we call in the higher self, please?
Yes.
Hi, thank you. We were wondering why Andre was awoken so abruptly.
Yes, he was receiving so much energy, and he was getting to a point where he was getting so high on the energy that he was starting to waffle, and the connection between Ashtar and him was lost. And Andre went into sort of a psychotic episode.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Okay, good.
Look him up. So we woke up because he was spinning out of control.
Having too much fun, is he?
He's finding this very funny, but he remembers that he was getting really, really hot and starting to drift off into a far away type of conscious place. It was no longer, wasn't in the session anymore. It was something that we had to stop from happening.
Okay. Thank you. I did wonder when he told us to jump off a cliff and have fun. That I thought, wow, considering he had a problem with heights just at the beginning of the session, it's incredibly different.
Yes, if you can imagine Ashtar and Andre holding hands and connecting, and Ashtar and Andre trying to bring Ashtar on a walk down a different direction that they had already planned to go. This is sort of what was happening. It was like Andre was enjoying the connection so much that he was drifting away from the secure place from where they were speaking. It's hard to explain because you don't understand it from your perspective. But it's like Andre was being a little bit mischievous and not respecting on a higher level the connection. So he went into a place that was just not respectful to the connection. And it's nothing that Andre has done. It's nothing that his vessel could have helped. It is merely a bit of fun and games from the higher self and Ashtar. So we decided to wake the vessel up because it was no longer conducive to the session.
Okay. On Andre's defense, though, I herself, Ashtar did say that we should have fun.
Absolutely. And can you see now how Ashtar was having fun with Andre and his higher self, and how it wasn't serious, and how we protected Andre's vessel, we protected the session. So many things were shown in that moment that we are always there to watch and help and guide the session. That the higher beings, while serious and are doing very serious things, are also very high beings and can have fun and laughter and can teach you lessons in exciting and fun ways. And it just shows that in the in the depths of the most intense type of information, the higher self is still having fun and is still enjoying energy and enjoying the higher vibrational moments. And this is what will be like on New Earth. The feelings will be so high. You'll be so high all the time. It will take some real adjustment. We were also showing Andre as well the feeling of being high whilst not being on drugs as well, and how similar it was to the feeling of being at its highest on the drugs, but also without the pains, the aches, the delusion, the confusion, just pure bliss, pure high bliss, and how this is a constant state once you are once you can access those vibrations. So it was a treat for Andre as well. But it was not conducive to the session. It was not respectful for your time. It was not respectful to the session. So it was time to stop and get back to work.
Okay, I didn't mind it. I found it fun. So, but I also thought I'm not going to be jumping off any cliff. Awesome. So, I was still thinking and not having peer pressure put on place upon me. Okay, so thank you so much. We have a question now I would like to ask about mass meditations. Someone wants to know if they are safe. Someone was worried about the intention of mass meditations and the pros and cons for it. What do you have to say about that?
They are safe. No one can, nothing can affect your energy unless you give it permission. If your intention during a mass meditation is pure and you want to help, then that's what your intention shall produce. If you are worried and fearful that you are being manipulated and that your intention of the meditation is somehow compromised, then it is best that you do not do the meditation. Because it leaves you open to lower vibrational emotions. It leaves you open to the manipulation that you so fear. Remembering, of course, at all times that you attract, fear attracts that which you are fearful of. So the issue with mass meditation is it tends to be a collective gathering to change timelines, to alter events, and which affects the free will of certain individuals who are not part of the meditation, who have not consented to this. It often doesn't involve, it's not often not part of the contracts that all souls vow to when they come onto Earth. So a mass meditation should be with the intention of sending love and healing to all those who consent in the moment of the meditation. But for instance, there have been mass meditations to stop the lockdowns. There have been mass meditations to bring the earth into different dimensions, etc., and things of this nature. And nobody asked Earth if she wanted to move to a different dimension. Nobody asked the people that were not part of the meditation if they wanted to stop the coronavirus lockdowns. So it is a beautiful and well-intentioned sentiment, but often is ineffective due to the laws of the universe and laws of creation. So some mass meditations and group meditations where they send healing to the earth. For instance, it is then up to the earth whether she takes the healing, but the healing and the intention can be put out there. And if the earth so does refuse the healing, then that is up to earth and that is the free will of the earth, but it is not affecting her life, her contract in any way. So it all depends on the intention of the meditation. And it all depends on whether it is acceptable by the laws of creation. If this person who is asking this question is worried about manipulation of her spirit throughout the meditation, then it is a good tool to call in Archangel Michael to place protection around you in the meditation, or it would be most advised not to partake in the meditation if you are fearful of these things, because, as we say, that which you are fearful of, fear attracts that which you are fearful of, and sometimes it is best to do only things that make you feel secure and comfortable, especially when you are in a state of meditation. It is more beneficial to the meditation that you are comfortable and secure and happy.
Lovely. And what about those people that only do these meditations with the groups? Is it more the fact that we should be doing our own meditations regularly rather than waiting for these big events to happen?
No. If somebody wants to, meditation is not a practice that you have to do. It is a tool. It is a way to make your experience easier. It is a way to access higher realms of information and consciousness, but it is not necessary. You do not have to do meditation. If you only want to meditate once a year on Christmas, well, that's great for you. I hope you enjoy the meditation. If you want to do the group meditations to help in that moment, then that is also beautiful. The intention, again, it's where a person is experiencing lots of downs and is feeling very ungrounded and depressed and blaming everything outside of them and playing the victim. That is when meditation will come in handy, and where only doing the meditations with big massive groups sort of defeats the purpose. But it is layered because in that moment, though, someone is trying to help with the collective, try to be part of something, and it is a very beautiful thing, and might make that person feel very connected to everybody else involved in meditation on a very higher level, and that person may need that if they're feeling alone. And the energy from those meditations, depending on the practitioner or the person leading the meditation, can be very healing and beneficial to that person in that moment. So you should meditate if you wish to heal, if you wish to access higher realms of information, if you wish to relax, calm yourself, ground yourself, communicate with your higher self. But it's not necessary to have a good life. It's not necessary to ascend or to grow or to evolve necessarily. It is just a great and most beneficial tool.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And in terms of Andre and his connection with Dolores Cannon, what would you like us to know about that today?
He's very happy to hear about Dolores. They have worked together over many lifetimes, doing different work. They were involved with the creation of Earth. And they have they outside of their vessels in this life would communicate and talk about what kind of information was going to come out. When would we do that session? When would we do this session? This has all been planned and nurtured by in some part with Andre and Dolores' connection, as it is with yours, Joanne. There is much happening outside of the vessel, outside of your physical consciousness. So you are communicating with Dolores, with your higher selves, with Dolores' higher self, even when you're going about your day to day. They have been connected in lives together where they have been friends, where they have been family, and it is just that in this life they chose to have separate identities for many reasons. Andre is unaware, of course, of these lifetimes with Dolores, but they have a very close connection. They have a very close bond. They have worked well together for many years, created many different planets, different beings, different projects as well. And yes, they will. Andre's seeing Andre's seeing himself standing on New Earth and looking into the sky and seeing Dolores's face in the sky. So it's like Dolores has made New Earth or been a part of the making of New Earth. So it's not, they're not going to meet on New Earth, but or be together on New Earth, but they will meet on New Earth, if that makes sense. so their connection and their relationship will continue because it's deeper than just the physical.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's so cute. And does she have a message for him?
uh, she's saying, Andre just heard her say, um, "You're doing it all wrong. You're taking it too seriously. Just calm down." um, and he's just seeing her smiling, seeing her smiling. She's looking very proud. She's looking very excited as well to see him, but also all the people and souls on this earth make the transition so they can reunite again. She helps Andre in his day to day as well, as she does you, Joanne, and Kane. Um, it's just Andre doesn't understand that because he never really felt that connection before he started reading her books. So this is news to him. How somebody he um, didn't know on Earth can be someone who um, helps them so profoundly. Um, and Andre is slightly uncomfortable with the connection because uh, he's finding it hard to let his guard down to connect so strongly with a stranger. But the connection goes, as we say, far beyond the physical. So the connection is on a very much higher level, which is why he got so emotional when he heard Dolores speaking to him in the session that you had last night. That is the connection. That was the moment where Andre realized the connection.
Yeah, considering she called him darling, I kind of was surprised that she was using such an affectionate term, but she did not want to not. She was very firm about using that word, which was appropriate. Um, that's exactly what she wanted to say to him.
Yes. Yes, it was how she spoke to those that she loved in her physical life as Dolores.
Nice. That is lovely. That is lovely. Okay, thank you so much for letting us know all of that. I'm very conscious of the time that we've been taking with this vehicle. So we will ask for any final messages for Andre before we finish.
Uh, he's hearing just do your thing. Just do your thing. Andre's done a lot of work on getting to that state of going with the flow. And we just want him to do the last of his work. Which is about being a pillar, supporting people, and transmuting the last of the energy for people, helping them to be lighter. So just do your thing, watch your TV, eat your pizzas, enjoy your life. You have very little of the 3D left. Stop worrying about the little things and trying to be perfect. Um, just do what you want to do. If you want to get pizza, get pizza. If you want to be a vegetarian, be a vegetarian. If you want to jump off a cliff, jump off a cliff, whatever you want.
Okay, crystal clear information. Thank you